The next time your phone says no signal, it might not be looking for a cell tower down the street. It might be trying to find a satellite hundreds of miles up in space. We are right in the middle of a brand new space race, and this one is all about connecting your phone directly to orbit. So today, we're going to break down how this all works, who's winning, and what it means for all of us. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle the problem this whole thing is trying to solve. Yep, the dreaded dead zone. Then we'll get into how the tech actually works. After that, we'll see who's leading the pack in this high-stakes race, explore some of the pretty serious risks, and we'll wrap up by asking a huge question. Who actually gets to write the rules for all this? So what's really driving all of this money and innovation? Well, it all starts with a problem that every single one of us knows all too well. Of course you have, right? That sinking feeling, that frustration, or even real danger of being in a signal dead zone is exactly what this new wave of tech is promising to, well, literally eliminate forever. Whether you're out hiking in the middle of nowhere or, caught in a natural disaster, the whole point is to make sure you're never truly disconnected. And that's the core mission of what we call direct-to-device, or D2D satellite service. It's all about offering peace of mind. It's this idea that you'll have reliable off-grid access, making sure that in those moments where it really, really matters, your phone can still make the call. Okay, so how on earth does a regular, everyday smartphone talk to a satellite that's hundreds of miles away in the vacuum of space? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the tech that's making this a reality. So here is the absolute key takeaway. D2D lets your phone, the one in your pocket right now, with no special antennas, no bulky cases, link up directly with a satellite. This is a massive, massive leap from those old-school sat phones that needed all that clunky, expensive, specialized gear. So how it works is by basically slotting a new super-critical player into the communication chain we're all used to, the satellite operator. They effectively become the bridge that closes all those gaps in your normal cell coverage, routing your signal up through space and back down when you're off the grid. Now, with a market worth billions and billions of dollars on the line, this new tech has kicked off an absolute gold rush. You've got tech giants and scrappy startups all racing to launch their networks. But here's where it gets really interesting. They are not all taking the same approach. So there are basically two different game plans here. In one corner, you've got companies like Starlink, and their big idea is to make their satellites act like floating cell towers, using the same airwaves your phone already uses. The huge upside? It could work with the phone you already own. But in the other corner, you have companies like Skylo, which use dedicated, protected satellite spectrum. Now, this is a more stable, globally standardized way of doing things, which makes it easier for carriers to get on board, but it might not work with every single phone right out of the box. Okay, so that's the theory. But how do these strategies actually stack up in the real world? Well, simulations from the research firm Analysys Mason show a really clear difference. As of May 2025, check this out. Skylo's network offers uninterrupted service. Meanwhile, competitors like Starlink and Globalstar have these service gaps, sometimes lasting for minutes. And in some places, like Anchorage, you get no service at all. And the reason for that rock-solid reliability, it really comes down to the kind of satellites being used. Skylo uses geostationary satellites, so think of them like giant, hovering lighthouses in space that stay in a fixed spot over the Earth. This lets them provide this huge, continuous blanket of coverage over entire continents. So if we take a snapshot of the market right now, you can see these different strategies playing out. You've got players like Apple and Skylo who have focused on one thing: getting reliable commercial services live today, even if they're starting with just messaging and SOS. Then you have others, like Starlink and AST SpaceMobile, who are going for the whole shebang, full voice and data, but their services are still in testing and have some real hurdles to clear before they're ready for everyone. Okay, but this incredible leap forward isn't just a simple win. It comes with a whole bunch of new, really complex risks that we're only just starting to wrap our heads around, both up in space and right here on Earth. So what are these hidden costs? Well, the sources point to a few critical areas. On the ground, there are some major cybersecurity questions. And up in orbit, these new constellations can actually interfere with astronomy, and they dramatically increase the risk of space junk and catastrophic collisions. The thing is, our laws just have not caught up to this tech. Think about it. A satellite company's ground station could be in, say, Germany, but its signal is serving you in France. If that German station gets hit by a cyber attack, who's responsible for protecting you? It is a massive regulatory blind spot. And this quote from Aaron Boley just hits the nail on the head. Scientists are worried that we're treating space the same way we treated our oceans and our atmosphere, just rushing ahead with amazing new technology without fully understanding the long-term consequences. Are we making the same mistakes all over again, just this time in space? All of this leads us to our final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. Who gets to wield the power that comes with controlling this brand new layer of global communication? Let this number sink in for a second. Over 7,600. One single company, SpaceX, already operates 65% of all active satellites in orbit. That concentration of power and infrastructure in one private company is, well, it's completely unprecedented. And with it comes an incredible amount of influence. And this isn't just theoretical. We are already seeing this power in action. In Ukraine, Starlink has been an absolute lifeline for both military and civilian communications. In Iran, it's a tool that lets protesters get around government censorship. This technology fundamentally challenges a nation's ability to control information inside its own borders, and it's creating a whole new battleground in geopolitics. And that leaves us with this final, critical question. The race for D2D, it isn't just about ending dead zones or sending a text from a mountaintop. It's about building the next layer of global infrastructure, and it forces us to ask, who's going to control it? Who's going to regulate it? And ultimately, who gets to own the sky?